1. The art of mental simulation. One of the first ways to accelerate your learning is through mental simulation. Instead of just passively reading or watching tutorials, what if you could simulate the entire learning process in your mind before actually doing it? This technique is what top performers, innovators, and problem solvers use to excel at new skills quickly. Research in the field of cognitive science shows that mental simulation is incredibly powerful for accelerating learning. A study by Dr. David M. Condon at Harvard University on mental imagery found that mentally practicing an activity activates the same neural regions as physically performing the task, which can improve performance and retention. This technique isn't just a passive form of practice, it's immersive. It's like training your mind to solve problems even before they arise. This technique works because your brain doesn't distinguish well between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So if you can mentally simulate the challenge, you're essentially preparing yourself for success. And the best part? You don't need to make those same mistakes in the real world. The mind has already worked through them. 2. Connecting disparate fields. But here's the kicker. The more diverse your knowledge base, the quicker you learn. Let's take a moment to discuss the power of connecting seemingly unrelated fields. In the past, specialization might have been the key, but today, cross-disciplinary knowledge is a superpower. The more varied your skill set, the more efficiently you can adapt to new situations. In his book, Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World, David Epstein highlights the power of this cross-disciplinary approach. Epstein explains that generalists, not specialists, are better equipped to adapt to rapid changes, make connections between disparate ideas, and come up with innovative solutions. Jobs, as Epstein emphasizes, didn't become a great innovator by focusing on one single field. By cross-pollinating knowledge from art, design, and technology, Jobs redefined entire industries. You can apply the same strategy to your learning. Want to be a better problem solver? Start exploring fields that might seem unrelated. Learn a little about psychology, dive into literature, try studying music theory, or delve into philosophy. This approach expands your mental framework, enabling you to see problems from multiple angles and find solutions faster than those who only stick to one field. 3. The power of conceptual multitasking. Now, let's explore conceptual multitasking, a deeper, more advanced version of regular multitasking. Instead of juggling multiple tasks at once, imagine juggling multiple complex concepts that require entirely different forms of thinking. This is more than just doing several things at once. It's about working on multiple cognitive challenges that stimulate different parts of your brain. In a groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, researchers at Stanford University found that individuals who engage in multi-domain learning are better at solving complex problems in novel contexts. This reinforces the idea that diverse cognitive challenges help train the brain to be flexible and adaptable, thus enhancing the speed and depth of learning. When you work on solving a math problem while also trying to understand a philosophy book or a new coding language, you're engaging different intellectual muscles simultaneously. The result is a rapid mental expansion that enables you to pivot between different kinds of problems more fluidly. In today's world, where change is constant, this type of cognitive flexibility is crucial. Think of it like cross-training for your brain. Just like athletes train different muscle groups, you can train your mind to switch between different types of problem-solving quickly. And the more you do this, the faster you'll be able to learn anything, because you've trained yourself to adapt and respond in multiple ways. 4. Learning under pressure and decision-making in uncertainty. Another critical aspect of rapid learning is performing under pressure. Gone are the days when you could afford to take your time mastering a skill for years. Today, the world demands that we adapt almost instantaneously, and this often happens in high-stakes situations. The pressure of working on a tight deadline or making critical decisions with incomplete information forces you to learn on the fly. But here's the secret. Pressure doesn't have to be a negative force. It can actually accelerate your learning. In his book, The Art of Learning, Josh Waitzkin, a renowned chess player and martial artist, describes how he thrived in high-pressure situations by focusing on what he calls embracing the chaos. Waitzkin's approach aligns with research from the Journal of Cognitive Enhancement, which found that high-pressure environments stimulate the brain's neuroplasticity, enabling rapid learning and adaptability. By putting yourself in situations where you need to make decisions with incomplete knowledge, whether in a professional project, a startup venture, or personal challenges, you train your mind to quickly absorb relevant information, make sense of it, and take action. Over time, you'll become more skilled at decision-making because your mind learns to sift through data faster and identify the most important elements. 5. Deep complexity learning. We've all been taught to break things down into small steps, but what if we took the opposite approach? What if instead of simplifying everything, we embraced complexity? The reality is, the problems we'll face in the future will be far more complicated than anything we've seen before. So, why not start learning in a way that reflects this complexity? Deep complexity learning is about diving straight into intricate, multifaceted problems and trying to solve them, even when you don't have all the answers up front. For example, rather than learning programming by following simple tutorials, try building something complex like an app or a website, even if you only understand 70% of the necessary components. You'll have to dig deep into your resources, search for answers, and adapt quickly. Barbara Oakley, in her book A Mind for Numbers, highlights how embracing complex problems from the outset can speed up learning by forcing you to engage deeply and intuitively with the subject matter. This method mimics real-world challenges, where solutions are rarely simple and problems are often multidimensional. The more you embrace complexity, the better you'll get at navigating it, and the faster you'll master anything. 6. Self-reflective active listening. The final skill we'll focus on is perhaps the most profound: self-reflective active listening. Most people think of listening as a passive activity. You just hear words and respond. But true learning involves listening to yourself as much as to others. In a study by Dr. Tim Wilson at the University of Virginia, it was found that self-reflection and self-directed learning are crucial to mastery, as they allow learners to connect new information with prior knowledge and correct misconceptions in real time. When you learn something new, don't just absorb it. Reflect on how you're learning. Ask yourself questions like, what's resonating with me? How does this connect to what I already know? Why is this new piece of information important? This deep level of reflection helps you internalize knowledge more effectively. It also allows you to fine-tune your learning process, improving it over time. So rather than mindlessly going through the motions, you're actively curating the way you acquire knowledge. This process ensures that you don't just remember things, you truly understand and retain them. And sometimes, it even means unlearning outdated methods and perspectives that no longer serve you, replacing them with fresh, more effective approaches. So, there you have it. The golden skill of the 21st century isn't just about learning quickly. It's about learning effectively in a world that's constantly changing. By mastering techniques like mental simulation, conceptual multitasking, learning under pressure, and diving into complex problems, we can not only keep up with the world's rapid pace, we can thrive in it. But here's the most exciting part. Becoming a true 21st century learner isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey, one that requires commitment, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace complexity. And at times, it will also require unlearning old, ineffective methods and relearning new strategies that fit better with the rapidly changing world. The future is changing fast, and if we want to stay ahead, we need to adapt just as quickly. So, if you want to take control of your learning, start by applying these principles today. Remember, the ability to learn isn't just a skill, it's the ultimate skill. It's the foundation for everything else. So, start mastering it now, and you'll be ready for whatever the future throws at you.